Would you say that Larry or Danger Ranger or Dusty, what what can Burning Man, perhaps as the organization or as the all the volunteers, the people who are making Burning Man have them learn from Second Life?
Dusty, you want to try that one?
Oh boy. What can Burning Man learn from Second Life? Wow. Can I think about that one for a while?
I think the tools that are available here are probably the most beneficial aspect, is that we're able to build and actually simulate. I think certainly from Larry's perspective, we have an ability to try out different kinds of art projects, structures here that can be modeled in the real world, and I think that's a great advantage of being here.
Can you
Well, that's
imagine
true,
then
actually.
people actually modeling their Burning Man art in Second Life first?
That could happen. I mean, God knows most of the, or many of the proposals we receive for funding, we fund a portion of the art in the desert, though not the majority. But most of that's done, with on CAD, and some of it's even been animated. So this would be a great medium.
Actually, I think we're sitting in an example of that right now. The architect that designed this wonderful tent structure we're sitting in right now apparently has said that it could be built in the real world.
Nice. I wonder, does the audience have any other questions? If so, please IM them to me. I'm sort of almost out of questions, and we're almost out of time as well. One question that I've always wanted to ask, it has to do with differences between Second Life and Burning Man. I've thought, we've talked about some of the similarities. One of the chief differences, of course, is that at Burning Man there's no commerce, and Second Life, in many ways, is very much about commerce. And I'm wondering how those two things rationalize, or do you the commerce in Second Life feels very different than it does in the real world. So I'm wondering, Philip, do you see that as being something that you can rationalize?
Well, one interesting thing to say about that is that, I mean, certainly we've always looked at Second Life as being broadly as needing to be anything people wanted to make of it, in a way similar to the web itself, and so it didn't make sense to tell people that they couldn't do commerce, for example. But that's of course because there was a very different kind of a goal and reason as compared to Burning Man. But what I would say is that when you see people pursue commercial gain in Second Life, you're sort of seeing them do it in an environment in which the rules and the challenges and the sort of business constraints are very different than in the real world. It has been famously said that in the future the only thing scarce is attention, and I think that the commerce in Second Life is an example of what happens when you have that. People only buy things that delight them. You don't need anything in Second Life, to physically, keep your well-being. And so, I think the way the rules are changed in here is an interesting kind of a merging. I mean, if you look at Burning Man as a kind of look at the society of the future in many ways, because it's a freer, hopefully the society of the future, because it's a freer, more connected, more inclusive, more handmade, more empowering space. And then you look at Second Life as hopefully a model for some other aspects of the future. When you look at how commerce works in Second Life, I think you get an idea for how these kinds of principles can scale to, say, become a livelihood for people in an interesting way.
Well, I think we're pretty much out of time. Been here doing this for an hour, and there doesn't seem to be any more audience questions. So I want to thank everybody, Larry, Danger Ranger, Dusty, and Philip for taking part. And audience, of course, thanks
Thank you,
for
Dan.
coming.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
This was fun. Thanks, Dan. Oh, and thanks, Larry and Danger Ranger and Dusty. It's great to see you guys. I'm just enjoying. I don't know where your cameras are pointing, but I'm just watching all those people wandering around in center camp back there with the bicycles and stuff. It's just
Yeah, well, one of the
so
things that was
cool.
striking me. One of the things that was striking me is that, at Burning Man, of course, you can never go to all the things that you want to go to, and I noticed that while we're doing this interview, there seems to be a fashion show going on in center camp over there. So
Yeah.
go to that, and you always have to make choices.